Hello and thanks for joining us on Africa Independent Television, AIT. Welcome to Democracy Today. I am Ijoma Osamor. 2 days, which is a little over 11 weeks or less than 3 months to February 16, a day scheduled for the 2019 presidential election in Nigeria. The culture of presidential debate is not alien to Nigeria. It is traceable to the aborted Third Republic when debates took place between the defunct SDP candidate late Moshood Kashimawo Abiola and NRC's Bashir Tofa. There was equally a debate between the vice presidential candidate Babangida Gaddafi and SDP and Sylvester Ugo, the NRC vice presidential candidate. At the dawn of Fourth Republic in 1999, presidential and vice presidential debate took place, but it was not a structured debate. Each broadcast organization planned for debates alone. But during the election season of 2003, the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, in conjunction with the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, and the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, and the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, they all came together to organize the debate for the first time in Nigeria, and the collaborative effort gave birth to Nigeria Election Debate Group, NEDG. The idea was to institute the culture of debate on issues and programs of presidential and vice presidential candidates as a critical element of the electoral process and democratic culture. Now, in simple language, the electorate must know and see those aspiring to lead them and tell them what they have in stock. On striking features of the debate since 2003 is the unwillingness of some party standard bearers to participate in the debate. Some candidates usually fail to reach their primary audience in Nigeria through the debate on the Nigerian televisions and radio stations. But as Nigeria goes into another round of elections, the Nigerian Election Debate Group is set to organize debates between the presidential candidate as well as vice presidential candidates. And in the meeting they just had a few days ago, they have already put things in place and they are waiting to take on the candidates. Now, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has challenged President Muhammadu Buhari to a live one-on-one debate with its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, on critical sectors of national life. The PDP, in a statement on Sunday by National Publicity Secretary Kola Ologbondio, said Buhari is at liberty to choose a venue, date and time convenient to him for the debate before a neutral panel. The party claimed that Buhari has been afraid of Atiku when it comes to debating on critical areas of the national life. Now, let me just take a few lines from their statements. President Buhari must face Atiku Abubakar in person, as Nigerians are not ready to accept any representation whatsoever from him. That's what the PDP said. And it says, if as a commander-in-chief, Mr. President cannot face a political debate, how then can he vigorously engage international competitors? Nigerians can now see why our nations has been under peril in the last 3.5 years. And the PDP went further to say that President Muhammadu Buhari should be ready to face his failures, according to them, and avail Nigerians of his sector's performance as well as present its future blueprint. And if any, they are asking, if any, it should be able to tell the electorate and weigh him alongside the presidential candidate. The Mr. President should explain why he has been insensitive to the killings of citizens and soldiers and insurgents, particularly given allegations that he has been distracting the armed forces by dragging them to participate in his re-election campaign. That's what the PDP says. And that's the end of your quote. And we remember that the Director General of the Buhari Campaign Organization, talking about the person of the former governor of Rivers State, once said that there's nothing too fantastic about going to a debate. That's the works that President Muhammadu Buhari has done for just 3.5 years. It's enough to show to Nigerians that he's fit, capable to lead again for another 4 years. Now let's go to the meeting held by members of the Nigeria Electoral Debate Group. Let's hear from them.
Strongest when our elected leaders are transparent, accessible, and accountable to its citizens. The Nigerian Election Debate Group and the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria are organizing a vice presidential debate on December the 14th, 2018, and the presidential election debate on January the 19th, 2019. The debates would hold at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja and will be broadcast live on all BON member stations across the country. The debates would also be streamed live on all mobile and social media platforms.
All right, you just heard from the chairman of VON talking there, and he's telling us that they are only set to organize a vice presidential debate. So what happens to presidential debates? Are the presidential candidates refusing to go into a debate? These are some of the things we'll go through. Tonight, we shall examine significance of debate and its relevance to the electoral process. And let me let you know that about 76 out of the 79 names of candidates announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, their names are the ones that are still left in the list of those participating in the February 16 presidential election in Nigeria. Now, debate as a component of issues-driven campaign is our focus tonight on the program. We have guests in the studio to look and discuss this issue with me. I am being joined in the studio by a politician. He's a politician and an entrepreneur who has been also one of, you may just be a candidate too, but this time not a presidential candidate of the Green Party of Nigeria. I have Abdul Salam Abdul Karim Ezara. You're welcome to Democracy Today. And I have another person, is a regular face on the program. I would like inviting him. He's a right activist. He's a writer, a columnist, and he's no other person but Law Mefo. You're welcome to Democracy Today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me start with you, Mr. Mefo. Let's go to the issue of debates, election debates. What we heard from the chairman of BON is that the debate is only going to be between the vice presidential candidates. What happens to the presidential candidates? Are they not ready to go into debate?
Well, maybe I missed that. I thought he said the vice presidential candidates debates will come first, then followed by the presidential. That's what I thought I had. Okay. And I would then, to be on the safer side, look at the two perspectives. One, if the debate is going to be for only vice presidential candidates of the political parties, then something is grievously wrong about that and should be corrected. And I want to believe that I had that after the vice presidential would come, okay, and that is what it has to be. And that being the case, and that being what it ought to be, should place some of the reasons why debate for, such high office, must be put in place. See, in a country as big as Nigeria, it's not possible for all of us to know who is contesting. Now you have 90 plus political parties, and those fielding candidates are up to 70, right? Good. It's difficult for Nigerians to really understand that this person is running and these are his areas of competence and so on and so forth. That said, debate is inevitable. You have to bring it in to enable us know who we are really picking for the office. It's not as if debate is a kind of silver bullet that summarizes or gives us the complete picture of the candidate that is coming into the fray. But it's a factor. Communication is a very fundamental factor when it comes to leadership. You need to communicate your ideas. You see, there is a difference between, rulership and leadership. If you're a ruler, maybe an Oba, an Emir, an Obi, it's a different ballgame. In democracy, where people have choice,
to choose who leads them.
To choose who leads them. Majority must agree on who leads them. Once that is fundamentally factored into what is going on, you need to say who you are. And if you, in political psychology, if you don't say, here I am, nobody knows that you are there. You need to communicate your positions and what you think, may be embedded inside of you, and nobody has an idea. From experience, there are people who have, strong communicative skills, but too little insight. And also, you conversely equally have people who have, poor communicative skills and strong insight. You understand what I'm saying? And vice versa. What does that tell you? Debate is not a cure-all, but it's a factor indeed that will tell us who you are. And it should be, broadened in a manner as to allow the process to be interactive. Let people really come and ask questions. We need to get a wide spectrum of the society to be part of the process. We need to see market women come in as representatives. We need to see traders. We need to see entrepreneurs. We need to see NGOs. We need to see professionals. We need to see all, spectrum of the society coming to have an input, ask questions. But debate in Nigeria, for me, has been elitist.
But people, some persons are of the view that instead of having a debate, you just go organize a town hall meeting.
Town hall?
Yes.
Town hall. How many people come into a town hall? It's a town hall for me. Town hall for me is a weak, substitute for debate. Why I say that if you have a full-blown debate where critical segments of the society come into participating in the process, like I mentioned, a market woman, she wants to know, how do you drive down prices? The manufacturer wants to understand, how do you want to make the import components of production possible? And labor, the unemployed youths need to come into the fray. You need to convince them on how you want to create jobs. I've had many candidates. One even said he's going to create 6 million jobs, 60 million jobs in the first 1 year. You are, as a professional, I can tell you for free that it is impossible. And we need to, bring such people to the table. And people who know can actually tell them that their claims are spurious, their claims are unattainable. This is what debate ought to be. But an elitist arrangement where you have, AIT crew, beautiful faces, asking some elitist questions. Do you know that 65% of a Nigerian voter population are illiterate?
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
Mr. Mifo, we'll come back to you because we still have another person in the studio. I would like to let you know that to be a part of this program, because we also will have to take your contribution, just go to our social media platform, go to our Facebook page, Democracy Today, like our page, drop your comments. Tonight, I will definitely take your comments, some of them, not all of them. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle at Democracy, the number 2, day with a double Y, or follow me on my handle at EJ Osamor. And let me ask you, Mr. Abubakar Abdusalam. Yes, Abdusalam. You're a politician, you're an entrepreneur. Are you one of those who think that it's not important for us to have a debate, especially amongst not just the presidential candidate, all candidates?
Well, my take on debate, I think it is important to have a debate because it is happening in the modern democracy. The US are doing it, and other developed countries are doing it as well. The aim of debate is it will enable you to say out the fundamentals. I mean, what you have for the people, like the issue of your development agenda, what you can do for the country, what you can do for the people, and your party manifesto will be digested in the debate. And where there are lapses in other, maybe in the previous government or in the existing one, people will talk about it. And it will enable a chance for the electorate to associate and to come to know what exactly you have for them. Like he said, I agree with him. Speaking out about the debate, or maybe during the debate, does not indicate what you have inside you or for the people, because some people are vocal while some cannot speak out what they have. So I don't think refusing to do debate or to participate in debate says bad, or maybe somebody doesn't have something substantial.
You're not good enough to come out to the public. That's what it's.
No. Like I said, some people are not very good in facing the public, but they are very good inside them. You understand me? Some are equally good in facing the public, and they have something good to offer to people. Like me, I can face people, I can say what I have for the people, and they are free to ask me questions. Like, I'm running for the governor of my state, Kano State. I'm ready to face people.
Nobody will believe that you are a politician. You're so calm to be a politician.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm ready to face people of Kano. I'm eager to answer so many questions that people want to know what I want to do for them, what I have for them on ground. And like he said, town hall meeting also is very, very important, because town hall meeting will enable the electorate to come forward and ask you questions that is bothering them. To me, I prefer town hall meeting where I will answer a lot of electorate. Debate, I'm facing an opponent, but town hall meeting enable me to face people that will vote for me, that know what my party manifesto is, that will know what my development agenda has for them. So I think each of them stand, and all of them are important. But on the other hand, when somebody is backing out for debate, does not mean he don't have something good for the people. Maybe he don't want to come out to talk, because let me quote, if you are talking about the President Muhammadu Buhari, he was in debate before the 2015 election, and he participated, he spoke well. So it's up to him. Maybe he would like to participate in this debate, or he don't want to do it. It does not mean he don't have something to offer.
But in a situation where, okay, now, if you think for somebody to say, I do not want to participate, it has nothing to do with the person's charisma or courage, don't you think it's better for the people who will vote for you to know you, even before you go into that election?
Yeah.
And by the time you tell them, I am not ready to face my challenger, eyeball to eyeball, that means you are afraid, looking into the person's eye.
I don't call it afraid. He must have his own reason. Like, let me take you back to 2015 again. When a debate was set with then President Goodluck Jonathan, he didn't come forward for the debate, and does not mean he's afraid to face his opponent.
Yeah.
It was his own choice not to participate, not to come out for the debate. But other presidential aspirants were in the debate, and they said about themselves, they said what they can do to people. And that does not disqualify Jonathan as a good good president. I hope you understand me. So participating in debate is a choice. If you like to showcase or to speak out about yourself to the people, or you have the time to do that at that time. And like I see it, mostly the sitting president, I don't know why, they don't like coming out for the debate.
Sitting president?
Yes, that's what I see, because if President Jonathan in Nigeria. Okay. If President Jonathan did not come out for it, and all the aspirants were there, and now President Buhari don't want to come, you should not give it a reason that he don't have something good for the people. No, he has, but he may choose not to come out. Is it a culture that sitting presidents don't like coming out for debates? Well, you know, in Africa we normally have a culture and tradition of respect. Sometimes you may come out and somebody may disrespect or say something that is contrary to our African tradition as a sitting president. So there are so many reasons to look at that. It may be that reason, I don't know, but we have seen that before, and this should not be a different one.
Now, which is stronger, respect for the people you want to govern, or your own self-respect?
Well,
which is stronger?
Respect for the people when a president do not come out for debate does not mean he don't have respect for his people. But we, in this world, we respect our president, no matter what. So we should give that utmost respect to the president.
Okay.
If he choose not to come out for debate, he must have his reason for not coming out for debate. But does not mean he has nothing to offer for the people. This is my take.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mefo, you heard what he says. It's
Yeah.
not, we all know that coming out for a debate is a choice if you decide not to come out for a debate. But there are other very important points that we must play up. Because the people you're going to govern want to know your capacity, capability, and confidence if you can actually carry the country forward. They want to know what you have in stock for them. They want to see how you can challenge, because at times they invite you for world congresses. It's a form of a debate too, because you have to talk there. Now a president, he just pointed something that it seems that it has become a culture that sitting presidents in Nigeria do not like coming out for debates.
Well, you see, it's rather unfortunate that we are making excuses for why a president sitting or contesting wouldn't come out to explain himself. All I can take away from the posture of such individuals is that they don't think that the medium can add significantly to their victory. That's all I see. And if the reason that I have adduced, is the issue at play, then we have to look at the debate itself and see how to make it really add to the process. So that if you fail to show up, you get punished. Yes, people can take that fact that you refuse to show up and make an issue out of it, and your opponents will in turn also make political capital out of it. And then ultimately you will suffer through loss of votes, right? Now, now I was trying to bring up an issue. I say that we have some statistics that are pointing to the fact that up to 60 to 70% of the electorates in Nigeria, the voters in Nigeria, are actually illiterate. If that is true, I haven't been able to interrogate these statistics, right? But I do know that if this is true indeed, the question is, how many of the voters in Nigeria are watching the TV and listening to radio and so on and so forth? If the number that really key into debate in Nigeria are insignificant, if you don't blame a candidate for not taking that seriously, we need to really put the factors on the ground. Because in fact, I do know that there is no serious candidate that would want to lose votes. So if some can get out, can shun presidential debates and get away with it, then something is wrong with the process itself. It means that our democracy hasn't matured to the point where presidential debates would become decisive factors. Do you understand that? That is fundamental. That is one level of it. Another level is every democracy unravels, it grows. Ours cannot be any different. Yes. It cannot be different. Yes. And all of us who claim to be Democrats should help it grow. What that means is that there is a social responsibility of every presidential candidate to participate in the debate as a way of growing the democracy. I don't understand what I'm saying.
I get it.
Beyond the fact that the debate would enable you to really reach out to the people, your manifesto, your vision, your mission, beyond all this, even if the debate is not going to earn you much votes, you still owe it to Nigerians. Do you understand the point? You still owe it to the nation's nascent democracy to participate in the process as your reasonable contribution to growing democracy. Finally, if you think that the people out there don't matter, no matter how insignificant the number is, that for me is a posture that marks more of aristocratic, failing, bringing in under sharp focus the difference between leadership and rulership. A ruler is not a leader. A leader leads the people. Do you understand that? A ruler occupies a position based on certain laws, certain considerations. That's how you have things like monarchy. A monarch he does not care how his subjects feel. That's a monarch. But a leader in a democracy is leading the people. He has to take, in fact, leadership simply means to lead, to be in front. And, that means leading from the front. In all ramifications of democracy, since you have become a Democrat, to the point that you are now a candidate of a political party, in fact, it's a good bet on you to take the lead and demonstrate that this debate is necessary. Even if it is not inevitable, but you know that it is necessary, it is helping our democracy, it's a good bet on you to demonstrate.
Okay.
Just one last line. Let me tell you. You asked whether this has become a culture
that shuns debate.
It's arrogance. Arrogance. Where our leaders have come to the point of believing that they are doing us a favor. We, the electorates, the voters, hired our leaders. Now it has become what social psychologists call means-end inversion, where the leader, once you get into the position, you don't care anymore. It's not about President Buhari or former President Jonathan. It goes across board. Go to say the governors. They have become czars. They have become demagogues. They have become, thank gods. They are above, towering above, far and above the people they lead. The people are nothing to them. And you look at it, you can see clearly that the arrogance, they are rubbing it, in the face of the people. And not caring how they feel, because they know they can return to other ways other than votes.
All right, Mr. Mefo, we'll be going straight to take a journalist. We're expecting him to join us in the studio here, but it seems it will not be possible. He's hooked up in a meeting. But let's just hear from a journalist, a senior editor. He has been a political journalist, and he has also been in the corridors of power. He was a commissioner in Taraba State. We'll just call into the studio Emmanuel Bello. Hello, Mr. Bello.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you very much. Yes, I do not want to apologize to the people who will be expecting that you'll be here with us in the studio on your behalf. But let's just go straight to the issue that we're discussing. Debates, presidential and governorship debates is important. How important and how necessary do we need a debate in Nigeria at this moment?
Well, yeah, we need it because we need to understand the politics, we need to understand the vision. We need to understand how the candidates are interpreting the crisis of this country. We also need to understand how they intend to solve problems, how they intend to bring solutions, how they intend to bringing light and illumination to many issues. We need to hear from them, because people don't change nations. It's policies and ideas that change nations. So it's not just about the candidate, who he is and who he is not. It's also about what he thinks, what he knows, and what he can do. So it's good that we probe, we interrogate them on their understanding first of the problem, and then certainly the solutions that they are bringing. A debate will help us do that. A debate will help Nigerians make up their mind easily about those who can actually solve a problem. But beyond even knowing the problem and knowing the solutions, debates will help us to understand the temperament of our leaders, how they're able to handle things under pressure. It help us to also begin to decode them better and to understand who they are and what they can do. So it is necessary in all developed economies, the developed democracies. Debate has become part and parcel of the entire cycle. People will understand better their candidates, and not just understand them, but also help them make up their mind about who they think can better do the job.
Now, when Nigerians are saying a debate should be a must for all presidential candidates, even if you're not going to have other candidates to do the debates, because they want to know who they want to vote for. And it seems that some presidential candidates are not interested in taking part in the forthcoming debate, which is being organized by the Nigerian Election Debates Group. Do you think that will go a long way to determine how votes will sway come February 16, 2019?
Not necessarily. Some of the candidates are already entrenched within their base, and so their traditional base don't really care whether they go for a debate or not. There are candidates like that who have some acceptance as a following, who will not necessarily judge them by by what they do at the debate. Some people have made up their mind to follow their candidates, whether they go for a debate or not. They already understand. They think they know fairly well who their candidates are. And so they might not necessarily want to judge them by the quality of the debate, their ability to sway the voter and all of that. We have not reached that level of sophistication yet, where the debate drastically change the mind of people. We're not at that level yet. But also you have to also understand why some of the candidates try to keep or stay away from some of these debates. They think sometimes debates are contentious, they are actually skewed. They don't think that the whole thing is the detail or whether it's not partial enough, impartial enough. They think that they set up somewhere. Some of them think that way, and so they stay away. And then they look at the medium. Of course, this is also a problem to us in practice the profession. We must be able to make these people feel that know that when we organize this debate, we organize them with the best form of professionalism and a sense of duty, and not to skew it in such a way that some of them will begin to feel that it's not. But be that as it may, it is difficult to say that debate, drastically change the minds of people. This time of the year, it seems to me that a lot of people have made up their minds already on who they want to vote for and who they don't want to vote for. A debate will help solidify your base, your traditional base. It also helps you maybe win new followers. But it's educative, it's entertaining in its own merit. It's an opportunity for people to see through things. But we've not reached that level of sophistication yet, where voters want to get it before they make up their mind.
Mr. Bello, as a journalist, do you think it's important that we push it to the doorstep of this candidate and try to make them understand the need for them to take part in the election debates?
Well, I just say that it's not, again, you have to look at every candidate. There are candidates who think that, they have no problems with going to the state and all that. But in traditional politics and the kind of politics that we operate here, there are politicians who actually sometimes think that it's a setup. We still live within an atmosphere or a culture of secrecy where people don't want to be exposed to all sort of things. So we don't understand that they need a debate. So the demand must actually come from the voters, the electorate itself must first be sensitized enough to understand that, look, they need to hear out their leaders.
Okay.
Our people sometimes do not necessarily make a very heavy case, and we're not helping them in that direction. So we need to help them know that they need to interrogate the minds of their would-be leaders. So there's that duty too from the part of the followers. Then of course the leaders must show some respect and some sensitivity in knowing that, look, the people that want to vote us want to hear from us.
All right, Mr. Bello, thank you for being a part of the program. Now, let me find out from you. He just said something here. It is not important. It's not mandatory that you must be a part of a debate. But the people hold you in high esteem to come before them and tell them this and this and this are the things we will do. Do you remember that there are some persons, some Nigerians who cannot read? You say, go to buy the newspapers. You say you have your blueprint, you have your mandate already. The market woman wants to see you. There's this relief in them when they see you on TV, talk about them and how you will alleviate some of their sufferings.
Well, I agree with him. Like I said to you before, debate is a place or is a situation where you will discuss about your political party manifesto and your personal development agenda. You will argue with an opponent that you have something better than him. This is it. But I will go back to what I said before. To me, organizing a town hall meeting is much more important than organizing.
How many persons will participate in that town hall meeting that you take to a particular location?
It has happened before. Before the 2015 election, APC had been organizing a lot of town hall meetings, and the people were there to ask questions. This is where you will enable electorate to ask their questions, directly between them and the contestant. But a debate, to me, I see a point or a situation of argument, discussing about the personal development agenda, discussing about your personal party manifesto.
Which will be televised live.
Which will be televised live. Although also, it will enable people to understand that this is what the party have for them and this is what you have personally for them, but does not give them room to ask you questions.
No, I think there are some debates where you can as well write a question or ask somebody to write a question. You have a representative who sits amongst the crowd. They give the people, just like a town hall meeting too, they give the people who are there the opportunity to pick the microphone to say, I need to ask this question to this candidate.
Well, sorry to cut you. I have seen in the previous debate that a lot of presidential aspirants participated in the debate, which one of them, the winner, happened to be my national chairman, the national chairman of my party, and he became fifth in the national election. And President Buhari was not the winner of the debate. And he won the election.
Do they announce winners in debates?
They do.
Announce winners?
I think they
no,
did.
I don't think so. The debates I have experienced in Nigeria.
But maybe the result came out that he happened to be the
that is
best.
Somebody's, maybe a group of persons.
The analyst will describe or say it, yeah, he is the best in the debate. But he didn't win. Then you can tell me what is the impact of the debate. I'm supporting it because I would like my state to arrange a debate for me and all the aspirants of the governorship of Kano State.
But you wouldn't like a presidential candidate to face
like I said, it's his choice.
His choice. All right. All right. Thank you very much. We're still on the program, but we'll just take a break here. Let's go to take some reports from the state, reports that some political development from some states across Nigeria. And remember, like I said before, when we return, we'll be taking some of your messages via our social media platform. We already have messages on our Facebook. Just go like our page Democracy Today and also drop your message. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle at Democracy, the number today with a double Y, and follow me on my handle at EG Osamor. Drop your message. When we come back after this short break, we will start with your message right here in the studio. Stay with us.
People's Democratic Party presidential candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was this Sunday turbaned as the Waziri Adamawa in his hometown of Yola, Adamawa State. The investiture ceremony was witnessed by dignitaries, with former Presidents Obasanjo and Jonathan imploring Atiku Abubakar to live up to the expectations attached to his new position. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has dismissed calls for the sack of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, describing same as immaterial and unnecessary. Governor Ganduje advised party members to shift their focus towards winning the 2019 general elections and asked politicians to engage in rancor-free politics. The Kano State Governor was speaking at an event to receive defective members from the PDP into the state's APC. Northeast APC National Vice Chairman Mustafa Salihu has asked all members to close ranks as the 2019 general elections draw near. Speaking at a two-day zonal strategy meeting on how to attain victory at the polls, Salihu called on all aggrieved members to withdraw all cases in court related to the last primaries conducted or face sanctions.
Appease people that are disgruntled as a result of the just concluded primaries. So also to advise each other on how to go about the general election come February 2019.
We are prepared to remain very loyal to our party, the APC. The decision of our party will continue to remain supreme.
The aggrieved members are still members of the APC, and it is the party that is paramount. We must be able to eschew our individual aspirations for the success of the party.
That we have all agreed that now it's time for us to put our house in order, especially when we have a competition within.
Let me give you this assurance that there is no PDP in Adamawa State, as far as I am concerned.
All right, just some reports coming from sub-state, and we do hope that we have more reports, political developments as they come. Tomorrow we'll be giving you an elaborate report from across the states, different regions of the country. Like we said, we will take some messages here. Let's just go to our Facebook page. We have messages coming from our Facebook. This one says, we want the presidential candidates to debate and not their vice. This is coming from Yinka Oyebode. That's from the Democracy Today Facebook page. Then Alex Ale Jadro, I disagree with the gentleman in the studio. For me, if you feel you are good enough to run for presidency, you should be responsible enough to come for a debate. There is no reason that is responsible enough to disregard a debate. You know, you said...
I said...
Yes, you said that, and somebody is disagreeing with you.
Well, I said that if debate is made mandatory, that every aspirant must participate in debate, he should. But I see him or the person coming out for debate is better than not. It's a personal choice. I agree with that. But if he does not want to participate in debate, in debate, sorry, I'm calling another country now, does not mean he don't have something good to offer for the people. It's his own choice to appear and say it out. So it is good, but if he chooses not to, does not mean he don't have nothing to offer.
Yes, before we go on that break, I was asking you because at the time this issue of the Nigeria Debate Group went to the National Assembly. They were trying to see if government can take over the structure, but a lot of persons feel that those who do not want to come for debate because they don't trust the organizers of the debate. Some of them have this fear that they may not be treated fairly. So do you think if they hand over the issue of debate to government, it will also make sitting presidents participate in debates?
For me, it will even worsen the situation. You know why? When they say government, there is incumbency attached to it. It will even be the incumbent president will be that is returning or that wants his party to return would manipulate the process if you hand the, the structure to government. It's not supposed to be. You should leave it as part of the democratic process, as independent as possible, right? You don't need to decree it into existence. Also, you take it to the National Assembly and legislate that debate becomes compulsory, and so what? If it becomes compulsory, so what? You see, if you understand that an individual that wants to win votes, would concentrate, in areas where more votes will come from, you will understand that decreeing that into existence and votes will not come from there makes little or no meaning. What you have to work on is to find some formats that will get the actual voters to participate in the process. Or at least become the recipients, the consumers of presidential debates. I argue, and I stand to be corrected, that 70% of Nigerian voters are not part of this process. They don't consume it. You get a problem. So if you have to rely on a minority of a maximum of 30%, more than 50% of who don't even have PVC, don't vote, don't want to go through the rigors of standing in the rain, the sun, and all that, you discover that what you have to do, let me tell you the simple thing: change the format, or rather expand it. You can bring a pidgin language into it. Yes, why not? There should be a version of pidgin English, because 70% of Nigerians speak pidgin.
As a lingua franca.
Yes, they don't need to read it, but they can understand it. But when we come and arrogate to ourselves, with all the tenets of democracy, and we believe that every person out there understands what we are talking about, that is where the problem is. More importantly also, Nigerians need to come to terms with the fact that we are not yet practicing democracy. You see, civil rule and democracy are not the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? Civil rule and democracy are not the same. Democracy is majoritarian rule, majority, where what you may call the tyranny of the majority. It means that there must be a way where the masses themselves will decide who governs them. They pick the person. It does not matter who the person is. The person can be an idiot. Pardon my language. But that is the way to demonstrate what I am talking about. The person can be, but that's their choice. And when the person fails, they will in the debate, in governance, and all else. They wouldn't have to blame anybody because they choose the person. That is what democracy is. That is what brought somebody like Trump to power over and they both Hillary Clinton.
And
do you understand that?
That will take me to the question I also asked initially. We copied the kind of democracy practice in the US.
Yeah.
That's what
we claim we copy.
And in that society, most of the candidates go through debates. They don't just go to one debate, they go to debates.
The average American. See, when you compare America and Nigeria, it's like comparing apple and oranges. You can't.
Apple and oranges.
Yes.
They're both fruits.
No. That may be the only relationship. I tell you, there is nothing. You see, America has advanced on democracy for over 200 years. Nigeria, is then truncated from colonial rule, the first republic up to 1966, truncated the Civil War, and the long interregnum of military rules that even punished and degraded and destroyed democracy in the process. And departed reluctantly, the military brought in civil rule rather than democracy. And of course, you don't blame them. You don't blame them. They are not used to democracy. I had expected the political class that inherited power from the military to fight to institute democracy in Nigeria. This they haven't done. What we have seen culminating in what we now, a charade that we call democracy. is where, in fact, what I choose to call an elite conspiracy. A group of people seize power and lord it over everybody else. That's what is happening in Nigeria. What is happening in Nigeria is a systematic class fraud that you call democracy. It's not one. As long as the people are not able to choose, go to party primaries. We just finished party primaries, and you saw what happened in party primaries. You saw even APC governors demanding the sack of their national chairman. Why? Because of the undue interference. The same thing happened in PDP. The same thing happened across political parties. What does that tell you? That no matter what the people, what the masses say in their respective enclaves, what we call party primaries, a group of men, perhaps not up to 20, we sit in Abuja here
and write
names and deposit on the people. And you call that democracy? That is not one. It's not democracy. Democracy, simply defined, is government of the people, by the people, for the people. It means the people choose who they want to govern them. As long as the people have no power over who governs them, there is no democracy. And that stand to be corrected.
Okay.
That is the issue, and that is what must be addressed.
All right.
Until that is addressed, presidential debate will remain what it is, a subterfuge.
Anyway, let me still go back to some of the messages I have via our... Okay, let me take from the Twitter handle. I have this one coming from Endurance Etinagbe at IK Kool-Aid. He says, debate would have been necessary if majority of the voters are elite, but the few elites do not vote on election day, and the stomach infrastructure debate is more important in Nigeria political space.
That I agree with him.
You agree with him?
I do, because who are the consumers of the debate?
That's it.
They are them. So I think it is our democracy is not yet matured, like he said, to the impact of debate in Nigeria. So
if I ask you to face your opponents now in a debate,
I'm ready to do that.
Which would you choose? Go into a debate or hold a town hall meeting?
I personally choose going to a debate.
So you will face any opponent?
I am ready to face any opponent. In my
do you have the capacity and do you have the blueprints of your programs to tell your people this is what I will give you?
Exactly, I do. And I'm able and I'm ready to stand in front of them to tell them what I have and what my party manifesto have for them. So to me, debate is important.
So am I taking this as a challenge to all the contestants in your state that they should come out and face you in a debate?
It is a challenge.
It's
they
a
should
challenge.
come out if they do desire to do that. But I personally desire to come out for a debate. If that happens and if they organize that, I will honor it.
Well, you just heard from him. He is of the Green Party of Nigeria. He has said all the governorship candidates in Kano State face me to a debate. That's what our guest in the studio here is saying. I never knew he was a candidate until now, but I'm happy I have a candidate here because I won't let you go. I must organize a debate for Kano.
I am ready to do that.
Yes, yes. Anyway, before we go, let me take this one from the Twitter handle. He said, those refusing, this is coming from Mordecai S. Ibrahim. He said, those refusing to present themselves for the debate are simply hiding themselves from thorough scrutiny. Over 50% of the eligible voters across Nigeria watch the debate. Who says villagers don't watch television? There are even viewing centers in the villages. So when you say that debate is holistic, this man is trying to tell you that even a market woman wants to see the candidate on television.
How I wish I can share his optimism. The data, the statistics I quoted, how did it originate? It came from INEC that 65% of Nigerian voters are illiterate. That's what, it's not me. And if that is true, I am not saying they don't watch TV. I didn't say that. The issue is, what is the medium? Do you understand that? How many illiterates can understand the language we use to convey this message.
So you are saying
that is why I even prescribe.
Make it softer.
Yes, I say pidgin, for example. Pidgin. I prescribe pidgin English. And you can do...
What about those who don't understand pidgin English?
No,
you speak their native dialect.
At least you have come closer to a greater majority.
Okay, we are out of time, but I want to ask this: are you one of those who think that even if there are 100 candidates, they should go face a debate?
Yes. Why should they face a debate?
Are you also one of those who says no matter who you are, whether you are whoever, a sitting president or a standing president, you should face a debate?
Well, like I said, yes,
all
it is, but it's a matter of choice. If
all right,
one chooses to participate or to show up for debate, he should. If he chooses not to, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for being a part of the program. My guest here in the studio, Abdusalam Abdulkarim. Abdulkarim. Yeah. Abdusalam Abdulkarim is of the Green Party of Nigeria, and long before he's an activist. We've been talking on the needs for debate. We'll continue in this discussion. We'll also have to call in some persons who have participated in the debates and even been. We have to put one of the NEDG's Nigerian Election Debates Group members right here in the studio to tell us what they have for Nigerians and for candidates who will face their opponents on the day of the debate on this program, one of the day before that day. Until tomorrow, when we return 7:30 p.m. on Democracy Today, I am Ijoma Osamor. Good night.